My name is Julius Mbura, as you've mentioned, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. So my role at the Inclusive Africa Conference is to ensure that the voices of youth with disabilities have been heard. Of course, we tailor-made the whole conference from the scratch, and we had to look at which sessions will actually advance the discussions that we had from the last conference, and we took a lot of feedback from the attendants, the participants, and now looking into the future, we have to consider everything that is going on, the new trends like AI, and it's basically looking at the holistic disability, ecosystem and what can improve the lives of persons with disabilities. And my role particularly is youth and also innovations. So 3 years ago, we launched the Assistive Technology Innovations Village, and I run this with my colleagues, and we look at solutions that have been built to improve the lives of persons with disabilities. We look at different components like just the other day, the Disability Act of 2025 was actually passed. This has been a bill for the longest time, and we are more than grateful that now we have an anchoring law. We were using the UNCRPD as our Bible for the longest time, but now we have our own Disability Act. We did have an act, but it was outdated from 2003. And we are bringing all these discussions at the forefront and making sure that all the stakeholders are involved, and all the big players in the ecosystem also contribute and showcase like what's going on, what needs to be done, and informing the new trends that we need to adopt. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Really making a difference then, right? I mean, you mentioned, following on from what happened last year. How long has this event been going on?
This is the 6th year. This is the 6th edition. We started back in 2020 when COVID was, at its peak.
Yes.
That time it was purely hybrid. Then 2021 we moved to a more. No, that was online, the 2020 version. Then 2021, we actually did it as hybrid with emphasis on the online bit. So it was more virtual than in person. And it's been growing. I mean, from 2022, we started skyrocketing with attendance. And that is the first time that we actually launched the ICT accessibility standard. And we had attendance of, I think, 200 to 250. And over the years, we've been having bigger and bigger numbers because we have thought leaders from different sectors from all over the world. So it's a global movement. It's becoming, a movement by itself. Inclusive Africa is no longer, we're just going to Kenya. It's, having the whole of Africa here to have the voices of persons with disabilities represented. Yeah.
Wow. And you're part of an organization called inABLE as well. Can you tell me some more about that?
Yes. So inABLE is the organizer of Inclusive Africa Conference. I am the head of advocacy, legal, and computer assistive technology. And inABLE as an organization is a non-profit that empowers persons with disabilities using assistive technology and digital accessibility, and also promoting disability inclusion on the same. And what we started with was computer labs for the blind, using screen readers to complement Braille as a traditional way of communication for the blind. And right now we have 6 assistive technology labs in 6 schools for the blind across Kenya. And we've started scaling up. So we have a school for the deaf. And what we're doing is bringing assistive technologies and complementing, sign language interpretation with AI tools, and also live transcribe and other, captioning apps to make sure that learners who are deaf also get quality education. So over the years, we've done it all, from research to now the conference, which is getting legs of its own, to stand by itself. But yeah, we are a holistic organization when it comes to disability inclusion, promoting accessibility, digital accessibility, and assistive technology, and also promoting innovators and youth with disabilities, not only in Kenya, but in Africa. We are based here in Kenya, yes, and Washington, D.C., but we believe that our work has no bounds.
Yeah, I mean, you clearly are shining a spotlight on the work that's going on, the amazing work that's going on in Kenya,
Oh, thank
and
you.
therefore across Africa as well. I think from
Mm-hmm.
outside looking in, what message
Yeah.
would you want to say? What would you want to say to the wider population out there in the world about Africa and its
Yeah.
commitment to accessibility and access to technology within Africa?
Yes, I'd say to the wider population and everyone who's listening in, watching, that Africa has become, and you can even see the trends of the big tech companies actually setting base in Africa, because we have innovators who are really dedicated to bridge the gap that has been there for the longest time, and we've shifted from the eras of gods to eras of medical to eras of when it comes to perception on disability. And now we're looking at empowerment through technology. And what I'd say is, assistive technology, and I can attribute actually my success to assistive technology, is that it has become a leveling ground, and we have embraced fully. As Africa, looking at the conference, we have right now over 20 African countries being represented here by youth, by people who are really pushing boundaries to make sure that persons with disabilities get quality education, quality life, employment, skills gap, and all that. We are a leading example of what happens when you embrace accessibility, inclusion, and disability. So all that comes to create a very cohesive, environment that has no boundaries, that has no walls, that has no limitations, and most importantly, that gives accessibility to all, regardless of their abilities. We are looking at universal design. Right now, we are trying to implement the ICT accessibility standards for products and services across Africa. So you can see how succinct we are when it comes to trends in the technology side, and also trying to empower persons with disabilities from a young age. And I'd say in a few years, there'll be a paradigm shift of youth with disabilities being in leadership positions, because they wear the shoes, so they know what's best for them, and they can lead the movement from the front, Yeah, so I'd say we are not stopping. This is just the beginning. And we are going beyond Africa now.
Yeah, I mean, my own travels to Africa many years ago
Yeah.
showed me nothing but hope. I just saw lots of people with lots of hope and positivity. And frankly, something I think, in Canada, in the US and the UK, we could do with a lot more of. But there are real challenges out there. I mean, I think about Canada, the US and the UK with, disability employment rates of around 25%, very low, especially in the blind community that we are talking to here, of course, on Double Tap. How does that reflect in Africa, in Kenya, for example? What are the employment rates for blind and disabled people there?
Yeah, there has been a challenge for a while. Employment rates for persons with disabilities hasn't been, with good numbers, but we've seen a rise on actually, because you need to make the private and public sector, believe that persons with disabilities can actually have meaningful employment. And from that now, we are seeing a shift of employers really leaning on talent and skill set for what persons with disabilities are providing, and even going over and above to actually create job opportunities for persons with disabilities. I normally say when you have a disability, it doesn't mean that you need to be in the disability space. For some of us who are doing advocacy, we choose to be there, but people can go out and do anything they put their mind to. So for the numbers, we have the Disability Act that gives 5% affirmative action for public and private sector, and even for the new act that was enacted, it's very direct. It expresses very well for what needs to be done and what opportunities need to be put in place for the government and also the private sector for persons with disabilities, and how that can be tracked. This was not the case in a few years back, because it was just, we need to create job opportunities, we need to train persons with disabilities. But now we're seeing a shift of that in a way that even for entrepreneurship, persons with disabilities are getting there. And the training bit has really become qualitative, where we don't just train them on manual work. It's actually skills that they need, say, like for AI, cyber security, and all this. So I'd say there's progression and there's hope. There's a lot of talent, and that can be tapped into, and potential for persons with disabilities. And also, the community itself, the disability community, needs to realize that there are these opportunities, and we are creating a lot of awareness to make them understand that, if you don't grab them, people who won't create, more opportunities for you. You need to show that you can have such opportunities by merit. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned AI there, and it seems like that's all we talk about on Double Tap most of the time. AI has had a huge impact on the tech world. How about when it comes to accessibility over in Kenya and Africa in a whole?
Yeah, I'd say AI is playing a very big role when it comes to accessibility, because we're seeing, accessibility components being made easier by using AI, say captioning for the deaf, and also the screen readers that we have. They're becoming more intelligent because of machine learning and data collection, and that is also very progressive with inclusion for persons with disabilities, because I'd say in the past we'd just depend on data that is disintegrated, but now with AI there's a lot of centralization and pushing boundaries with innovations, different innovations in whatever disability, the blind, the deaf, physical disability, prosthetics now are being used. People are using 3D modeling tools and AI, and I would say there's a very good uptake, and there's very cutting edge, ideas and solutions for AI.
I imagine there's a lot of people who are going to be hearing about this conference and hearing you talk and getting a very different view of Kenya, of Africa more generally. We all know what the headlines can look like sometimes. The reality does seem to be pretty different, though, from what the headlines suggest about Africa. It seems that things are on the up. Is that what you would say, especially in this space?
I know. I'd say don't believe everything you see out there. You should zoom in and see the bigger picture, because we are doing some amazing work. The disability movement has really gotten better with time, and the wider society is actually seeing us as equals now. We are trying to move away from the era of saying we are for special needs, to where we're saying, we are here, we can do this, we need to be heard, we need to be seen, and we need to lead the movement. So I think sometimes, there's a lot of misconception going around, but what we've tried to do, even with the Inclusive Africa Conference, is to demystify these, the misconceptions that are being thrown around, especially of Africa not being, tech advanced and all that. There's a lot of work going on, and we have a lot of untapped, potential to make Africa better and even beyond.
Yeah, you've got smart people there, right? And you could do it all. I mean, listen, the hope, the passion, the positivity, it's infectious from you, Julius. I am honored to have you back on the show with us, my friend. Thank you so much for what you do. And,
thank you, my friend.
Go and enjoy filling up the cars, because I know you enjoy filling up the cars. As Julio Supercharged. That's your other passion in life, right?
Yeah, man. And I picked up hiking just the other day. I actually did 7 mountains in 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did Mount Kilimanjaro. I did Mount Kenya and Kilimanjaro in the same month.
we've been near mountains. Does that count?
Yes, I've seen them on TV.
No,
well, audio described.
You should get to the summit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sound wonderful. I'll let you do it. You tell us what it's like. Julius, thank you so much for coming on. Good luck with the conference.
No, I appreciate this opportunity, and you're doing a great job with, showing that disability is not a limitation to anyone. It doesn't define us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take care, man. Thank you.
Thank you.